Good morning, Garden Church. So my name is Charlotte, and I'm going into 10th grade. And I wanted to mention a little bit about me. So this is my family. I love them very much, and they're so fun to be around. I'm also part of the 10th grade girls small group, and they're such great friends, and I'm so lucky to be able to see them and grow up alongside them. And this is a picture from VBS last year, Scuba, that I was a part of. It was beautifully done and so amazing to be part of. And I'm so excited to be a part of VBS this year as well. I'm going to be a crew leader for the fourth time this year, and actually going to be crew leading for my sister up there, so I'm that much more excited. And as we are approaching the days of VBS, I wanted to share one of my most difficult experiences, or well, probably the most difficult experience I've had so far. So last September, I experienced intense fear and anxiety stemming from my thoughts. When returning home from school, I would be preoccupied with dark and terrifying images. And at its worst, I couldn't eat dinner because I was so nervous. It was to the point I remember thinking, how was I possibly so normal before, and how could I go back? I was held captive by my thoughts, and I couldn't just stop thinking of them no matter how hard I tried. They were always lingering on the edge of my mind, and I couldn't be in the moment and was instead stuck in my unrealistic fears. I was afraid to be in my own home, and I preferred to be at school where I was surrounded by people 24/7. I mean, I didn't want to be in my own home. It's the safest place I could be, but I was still afraid there. And I didn't just struggle with my thoughts and emotions. However, I would also wake up in the middle of the night for multiple hours. I couldn't fall back asleep, and in the dark, my fears were heightened. In those dark hours where no one else was awake, I felt the most afraid and alone. However, God blessed me with an amazing family who supported me through every step of the way. My dad would do mindfulness with me every night before bed. My mom would have deep discussions with me. My grandparents, they would pray over me, and my siblings would even sleep over in my room. I don't usually like having sleepovers because it's really uncomfortable. But that's what it had come to. I embraced and wanted the comfort that another body brought. During one night when I woke up, my sister started patting me on the back, saying that it was going to be okay. Usually it's the other way around, but that action really comforted me that night, and I'm really grateful. It wasn't just my family, but I also received prayer from Pastor David and from others from the church as well that I'm really grateful for. God planted all these amazing people in my life, but He also helped me through praise and reading the Bible. I had to lean on God during this time because it was something I couldn't solve by myself. This was the first time I felt unexplainable and uncontrollable fear. As the oldest, I used to wonder, why couldn't my younger siblings control their fear? I mean, why were they scared of something they knew wasn't real? But through this experience, I learned, there's some things that I can't control and I have no power over. No matter what I did, I was still afraid. I couldn't talk my mind out of being afraid using logic, no matter how many times I told myself that none of this was real. I had to learn how to trust God to do what I couldn't, and it was really hard. I used to be an avid journalist, so I have journal entries from that time, and I wrote things like, I'm trying to trust in God, or I'm trying to declare Jesus' name, but it wasn't working. So despite my trying attempts, my situation wasn't improving, resulting in frustration and hopelessness. So in an attempt to cry out to God, I turned to reading the Word. My journal entries became bullet points of notes and takeaways from that day's reading, and my Bible reading habit still continues even today. I am 173 days in on my Bible plan and on track to complete my first time reading the whole Bible in a year by December 31st. I have learned so many things about these imperfect Bible characters and God's characteristics, helping me to trust in God and who He is. Not only did I read the Word, but I kept and I still keep my Bible right next to me as I sleep on my bedside table. Going to sleep was terrifying, so the Bible was and is a reminder that I'm not alone and that God's presence is with me. Praise was also a big help to me during that time. I used to be nervous and afraid to do actions that were once easy after the sun would go down and it was dark. For example, showering. It's an everyday action that I've been doing my whole life, but it began to bring a sense of fear within me. However, I fought my fear with praise music. I was one of the most vulnerable during my 10-minute showers, and I was praising and singing my heart out, knowing that no one was watching and it was just the Lord with me. The words of the songs would wash over me, giving me reassurance and strength. I remember crying out to God and praying that He would make the words of these songs come true. That praise is a weapon that conquers all anxiety, and that He brings people out of darkness. The fears didn't go away immediately like I wanted them to, and I had to practice utilizing my newly learned spiritual weapons to fight off my fear. It took time, but I can say that I'm stronger and that if something happens again, I'm equipped and ready. So I wanted to share my testimony to encourage anyone that when you feel afraid or hopeless or alone, we can church. Will you say it with me? Trust Jesus.